When you get right down to it, the gun is what is going to do the killing.
How many of you plan to vote in the 2020 election? Okay, has the gun issue changed how you think you will vote? Show of hands. It has. Okay, so Kirsten, how's it changed for you?
I now look for that issue, and it's important to me to feel safe in my school, and whether or not they think it's important for me to feel safe in my school is how I will vote.
Now, this statement presupposes that politicians who parasitically live off the forced theft of the people called taxation are worthy of any of us giving a rat's ass what they think. Politicians are narcissistic, power-grabbing liars that deserve to be shunned by humanity, and the fact that we as a supposed advanced civilization even give ear to them is alarming.
I think after this whole thing, we're going to be looking out for how they stand on the gun control issue, and that's definitely going to change the way I vote.
Let's modify that and call it what it is. This is not a gun control issue, it's a people control issue. Using misnomers misleads people into making very bad decisions.
You and Julia were at Parkland when this massacre happened. So has that day changed your outlook on things?
Parkland's kind of wrapped in a nice little bubble, and after that shooting, the bubble popped. We don't feel safe anymore. Even at the march on Saturday, I was looking up and the buildings were really tall, and I was wondering, could a shooter shoot down from there?
This is interesting because I thought the same thing when I was there. What a perfect opportunity to pick off as many disarmed fish in a barrel as you'd like before your ammo runs out.
It feels the same way for me. The one town and the one place that you felt you could never be harmed, that's when your life was at risk. You just think you want no other student to have to experience that ever again.
And wouldn't the natural response for a rational human being be, holy crap, I need to arm and train myself to be ready just in case this ever happens again? But their response is, please help us, our beloved and wise political overlords. This is insanity.
There's a lot better ways to protect our schools and to protect our public areas than just to take away all of the guns.
What he said is true, but later this kid starts stumping for smarter gun control laws and better background checks.
So how many of you, show of hands, think that there should be more armed guards in schools to protect them?
Okay, partially, but I also think that to an extent, if you put all of these extra guards, it's going to feel like a prison.
The stupidity of this statement needs no comment.
How do you think you stop someone shooting people? If everyday citizens have the right to carry, could have been stopped altogether.
Ah, finally, the voice of reason. But if you'll notice in this original CNN clip, this kid was highly edited. I'll leave the link to their full version in the description.
Even if someone is trained, just like Officer Peterson was at my school, there's no way that you could possibly simulate an event like this. There's no possible way to practice or do an active shooter drill. He went in there with high-capacity magazines, a semi-automatic weapon, and killed 17 of my classmates in 6 minutes. Don't tell me that a handgun could have stopped that.
This is where the CNN host could have said, well, an officer with a handgun did stop a shooting in Maryland recently. It would have stopped this girl's statement dead in its tracks. And I've heard people say this a lot. They say a guy with a handgun is no match for a guy with an AR-15. Look, a flying bullet is a flying bullet. Doesn't matter if it's launched from the barrel of a Glock or an AR-15. The first person to get hit in a critical area is going down.
Guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe and notification button for all my daily uploads.
Hard to explain how dangerous it feels when I walk into my school. It doesn't matter that there are policemen there. There's no possible way to protect it. Why don't we just cut it off at the source and take away these semi-automatic weapons?
Who in their right mind looks at a crime and says, hey, that guy used a knife, or he used a gun, or a car? So logically what we must do is remove all of these things from the rest of society, as if the source of the crime was the inanimate object itself. This is such obvious foolishness. And mainstream media keeps exacerbating it.
Let's talk about that. Let's go around for solutions and what you each would suggest for solutions.
First, a ban on assault rifles altogether. Raising the age that you can apply to get a gun. More comprehensive background checks and mental health screenings.
We need to start by banning these weapons of war, and no civilian should have them.
So who should have them? Well, these people contend that they should only be in the hands of the military or the police. Yeah, governments have killed over 250 million of their own people in the last century alone, but let's hand our guns over to the government anyway. If your solution to every problem is government, then you're asking very stupid questions.
And what about the argument that you'll hear from people who say, if you ban semi-automatic weapons, then only the criminals will have them?
Does that mean we shouldn't try?
Yeah, it means we shouldn't try. We don't need to try to ensure that only criminals have guns while we disarm ourselves. I'll tell you what, you people who think like this, carve out an area for yourselves somewhere, let everybody know that you're disarmed, and check back with us in about 10 or 20 years and let us know how everything worked out for you. Now, I'm just going to leave you with the only voice of reason in this individual rights trampling CNN segment.
How will we defend ourselves if you take that right away? And that's what the left is trying to do.
We're human beings first, right? Our lives matter before political parties.
I agree.
And you don't know any of our political affiliations.
You don't know any of our political
affiliations. You don't know that.
And I think, well, I'm not attacking you guys personally. I'm attacking the ones that seem to be backing this whole movement. My solution for gun violence is allowing people to have guns. The more people that are armed, the less shootings there will be. Have you ever seen a gun show get shot up? No, you haven't seen that. Why? Because the guy's going to get shot. The guns are the solution, not the problem. Why are you telling everyone out there in America that you can't own a gun for your protection? You know, I'm in fear walking around that shooter can have.
It doesn't need to be for protection.
It's not a good gun for hunting either.
Why are you telling me
for hunting, for sport?
It's not an efficient hunting gun.
My life is more important than a gun that's used to hunt.
Jacob, is there anything you're willing to compromise on in terms of guns?
The issue here is the politicians on the left are trying to take away the gun rights one by one. It will start with assault rifles, and then it will continue until they take every arm in America away from the people.
I understand. So you're pretty dug in on your side. You don't see a common ground. You're not going to be able to find common ground.
I don't think it's good to compromise your rights.
Even though he uses the bogus assault weapons terminology, Jacob here has the right idea. Individual rights are something you should never compromise. Why? Because a right given up by one person is taken by another. There are always two sides to every trade. By giving up your rights, you're handing control over to another person. And historically, that never ends well.
Guys, if you enjoy this content, take a second and hit the subscribe and notification button for all my daily uploads.
Guys, thanks for watching. I create at least one new video every day. If you get something out of this content and you want to be alerted when I upload new material, subscribe to High Impact Vlogs, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know. Because the specter of censorship and termination looms over channels like mine, be sure to subscribe to my free private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. And if you think it's worth helping the cause of truth here on this channel, you can support my work on Patreon or PayPal, or you can grab a hard-hitting shirt from the most politically incorrect shirt store on the planet. There are over 100 kick-ass designs, and I'm adding new ones every week. All these links are in the description and in the pinned comment. Remember, don't just believe anything and keep questioning everything. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored video.